Hey folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's live trading action video. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here. Today's date is Wednesday, June 8th, 2016. Well folks, markets continue to struggle here. Not that we're down on the day, but you can see we're having a lot of trouble breaking out above this pivot high. We tested it early in the day today, and by the way, this is the SPY 10-minute chart, so each candle is 10 minutes. Here's the dayline break, yesterday's dayline break, etc. going back. So this was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday today. As you can see, again, the market's opened a little bit higher, which has been a common theme, and then surged higher. If we look here, right, Monday, same thing. Small gap higher, surge up. On Tuesday, small gap higher, surge up. Today, same thing, but notice the last couple days you've been kind of rolling over here just a little bit, and we're seeing that same price action. Now, I have a key sell signal on the markets right in this vicinity. It's actually something I've developed recently. I'm fine-tuning it and back-testing it, but we do have a very large sell signal that has shown up here. It showed up yesterday right here when we got right up into this level. And again, it has nothing really to do with the trend line. There's actually a cool trend line here that you can see here, connect this high to this high, but it just adds fuel to the fire that you were hitting that key trend line, and then you kind of retested it today at the highs. Bottom line is, that's not really what I want to discuss today. I want to go over two trade setups on larger time frames that are looking like great pullback candidates based on not only a sell signal on the S&P 500 that I'm getting, but also on their individual charts. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip over. Let's start with Halliburton, guys. Halliburton here, HAL, which has been on a monster tear up with oil. And I want to go to the weekly chart here. This is actually something really, really cool. So what I want you guys to see is you always look for extended moves, and you can see Halliburton on the weekly, very extended here. Notice again how the volume's getting lighter as it's going higher, so you got like a little negative divergence going on there. But then what I want to also look for is always trend lines, trend line resistance points. And what you can clearly see is if you look at this pivot going back to kind of late 2013, put a line there, connect it through this high pivot, and look at what you get. You virtually get a pierce of this line right here. So this is telling us there's a ton of resistance on HAL, Halliburton, right in this vicinity. The extended chart also signifies that as well. So again, I am expecting, based on the weekly chart here, based on the sell signal in the S&P, we should see a pullback in Halliburton. All right, so that's just one of them. Another big one is Steel Dynamics. This one's actually really freaking cool. The trend line goes all the way back to 2010. And the one thing to remember, the further you go back in time, the more power the line has, right? Because it's had more time to kind of solidify. Think of a tree, right? If you plant a tree, it's going to grow, but the base of the tree is so thin, right? It can be broken very easily. Over the course of years, decades, it gets stronger. The tree grows bigger, and that base, that trunk is getting thicker and thicker, and it's not so easy to push over now, right? So the same thing applies to trend lines here. And one thing you can see here on Steel Dynamics is look at this pivot high. So first of all, you see the major drop here, and then all of this since 2009, believe it or not, is all an inside bar pattern, kind of in spirit of bearish pattern. So you have the bearish pattern already there, but that doesn't give you any sort of isolation on when the drop is going to come because, you had the pattern down here, you had it down here, and so forth. So you just want to take that as with a grain of salt. Yes, it's bearish, but it's not giving you a specific time frame. To get that time frame down, you want to look for a trend line again. And to do that, see this pivot high, the first bounce high here, put a trend line right there, connect it to this second trend line right here, and look at what you get. Virtually almost the exact high today on the chart. Could go a little bit higher just to actually touch or pierce that line. But what this is telling me is that there's a high probability based on how powerful this chart is, or this trend line is, based on how far it goes back, that you may be seeing a multi-week high, maybe multi-month high on Steel Dynamics, STLD. All right, it's a great day on it. Nothing taken away from a 4.5% to 5% here. But notice how that move took us right up into that powerful trend line. What type of move could you get back to the downside? Well, if you're looking at the big picture and you take into account the bearish pattern, and if this turns out to be a major top, you might be looking at a move very much in the short term, much like the pullback off of it. So here you can see it pulled back here, which was from about $20 back to about $14, which percentage-wise is huge. And if you look here from this high, which was about $25, it pulled back to about $16. So, you could have a big pullback just in the short term, meaning over the next, month or two. But if you're looking at the bigger picture with the bearish pattern here, you could be looking at this going all the way back down to $6, $5. That would be the biggest pattern playing out. The smaller patterns obviously play out with a smaller move. But again, just something there to note. The last chart I want to go into is a small cap here. I want to give you guys this small cap. We're going to look at it on the daily chart. It's ICLD. It's showing some signs of life. We've seen some micro caps that have gotten some big momentum here. This stock has a history of major moves. You can see right here it went from $1.50 to almost $5 there on that latest run. But what you can see here, again, it had a big run here from, what was this low here, 40 cents to $1.10 or so, $1.20. But what I like about here is you almost have a little bit of a trend line that's formed, and you could be breaking out today. And so if you do see these lows here, so low, low, and then high, 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 and high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a trend line and slap it right in there, guys, all right? So let's do that as accurately as we can from this point to the low here, which the closing level right there, there, here, 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 and over. Look at that. So this is actually breaking out today, which again could signal a big move to the upside. And again, the only reason I bring this to your attention is because it has a history of big moves. So, you know, I mean, this could be at $1.50. This could be a $2 play in a day or two. Now, again, it's high risk because it's obviously, you know, we all know it's a small cap, a micro cap play. I think $20 million market cap. But, you know, we've seen some small caps go nuts. Look at this BSPM today. I mean, this is ridiculous. The stock right now is still up 200% on the day, and at one point it was at $6. This was like almost up 400% at one point today. All right, you know, we've seen Cali, which is a Chinese one, yesterday. I mean, 2 days ago, have a crazy move. I mean, look at this. The stock was trading down at a buck, and yesterday it went to, or 2 days ago, it went over $4. So I guess my point is right now is that you have a fine window here before the market comes down. Right now, very fine line where some of these small caps are going drastically, and it's definitely worth watching here. No doubt about it, folks. So keep it on your watch list. Again, you know, some people, this isn't appropriate for you. It's a high-risk play, but, you know, even if you do play it, you play a small share size amount, guys, because, again, there is risk here. And plus, if it goes big, it's going to make you money anyways. Okay? All right, guys, come join us at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Always exciting, always something to look at, always trades to make money on. I will talk to you all soon. Take care.